The latest report is indicating that out of 3 days of training camp for the Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy has outperformed Sam Darnold in 2 of them. And the best way to kick off this podcast is to play this recent video posted by comedian Joey Molinaro. He is hilarious. He does an amazing Colin Cowherd impression, and he dissects the game like no other because he brings humor and truth and combines it into comedy, and it is absolutely funny, and it is pertinent. Didn't know that word was in my vocabulary. Sometimes words just come out of nowhere. To this situation.
Yeah, so Brian's going to start off with the threes. Okay. Look, I know that he is a very young player, very talented young player. We're very excited about his future, but we brought Kyle in because he's a veteran in this league and he's played for a long time. So, Brian's got some things to learn. He's going to learn from him. He's going to start with the threes and run with them for now. Yep, he will be with the threes. Look, I know everyone's excited about the young guy, right? And rightfully so. When we are very excited about him, but he's still got a lot to learn. For now, it's still Kyle's offense, and we're going to go with that. Excited about the progression, but still ways to go. Yeah, Brian got some look at the ones today, but that's pretty custom for this juncture, this time of year, right? Everybody kind of cycling in, everybody getting a look with different people, right? Wanting to give the defense a different look. Everybody don't even lose their marbles about it, right? Nobody lose their lid. I know everybody wants to see the young guy. Everybody wants to see him, going out there and playing and everything. I know the fans do, and I know you guys obviously do, but he's got a lot to learn, and so he got a little bit with the ones, but that doesn't mean anything. Morning. Excited to finally be in a real live football event week. Want to start off saying that Brian will be our number 1 on Sunday, and we'll continue that for the duration of the season as we see fit. We appreciate the efforts from Kyle coming in here, leading them, showing them the ropes, showing them the way. But Brian will be our starter on Sunday.
Isn't that the truth? And hasn't that been the ascension of J.J. McCarthy since he has joined the Minnesota Vikings? As soon as he was drafted and as soon as OTA started, J.J. McCarthy's QB3. I just did a podcast 2 weeks ago after J.J. McCarthy was labeled QB number 3. And first day of training camp, J.J. McCarthy has been running with the 2s. And there's been a report that he's been outperforming Sam Darnold. And he will get some run with the 1s, Kevin O'Connell mentioned before training camp started. So it's just so funny to look at what general managers and head coaches of organizations say and what is true. But he always come back to the question, what is he supposed to say? Because when you ask that question, you really cut through a lot of the bull crap everywhere you see, especially in professional sports. Because what isn't going to happen, what Kevin O'Connell is not going to say is, J.J. McCarthy is our week 1 starter. That's an unfair expectation to set on him. That is pressure immediately from teammates, from coaches, from Quezzy, from the fan base, placed on a rookie quarterback that's only 21 years old. Like, why would you do that? Of course he's not going to do that. But could it happen? I would still say no, but the likelihood, the percentage chance that it happens seems to be increasing by the day. Because according to Will Ragatz, an reporter, an insider for the Minnesota Vikings, he said after the 3rd day of practice for the Vikings, for the 2nd straight day, Vikings rookie QB J.J. McCarthy has outperformed veteran QB Sam Darnold and looked more impressive of the 2. Now, a couple of things need to be looked at. One, J.J. McCarthy is running with the twos. He's probably running against the second-team defense. That needs to be considered. The touchdown passes that J.J. McCarthy threw is like the Trey Knox, and I think he did throw a touchdown pass to Jalen Naylor, but some of the touchdown passes that he threw were to players that are clearly second-team wide receivers. And that tells me that he's going against the second-team defense. But I look at this full report from Will Raggett, and I'll share this screen with you so you guys can follow along and read with me. Let's see here. Here we go. It says, the daily QB update says, like the first two full-speed practices of training camp, QB1 Darnold and QB2 McCarthy dominated reps within the Vikings' four-man quarterback room. This was the second straight day where McCarthy looked more like the more impressive of the two. Should just say where McCarthy looked like the more impressive of the two, but we're not a grammatical podcast, although both had their ups and downs. It's still early in camp, so you try not to read too much into it, but Darnold had a fairly shaky day. He threw an incomplete hospital ball to Justin Jefferson early in practice, meaning he would have led Jefferson into a big hit if it were in a game. First of all, true, you don't want to throw it high, but how many big hits are on wide receivers these days? When's the last time a wide receiver took on a big hit up high? Now, low, corners, safeties, they go after the knees. But hospital balls, those don't really exist anymore because if a defender goes high, that's an automatic fine and possible suspension. Anyway. So in the red zone period, he stared down Johnny Munt and threw an interception directly to Harrison Smith in the end zone. And Darnold should have had a second pick that was dropped by safety Theo Jackson. To be fair, the veteran also had his fair share of completions and good throws, including his daily deep ball highlight when he hit Jordan Addison on a bomb down the sideline towards the end of the day. Now, that's been clear. Sam Darnold can throw the deep ball really well. They showed him throwing a deep ball to J.J., throwing bombs to J.J. They showed a video of him throwing bombs to Jordan Addison, throwing bombs to Jordan Addison. That is the strength of Sam Darnold's game, is getting the ball downfield with touch and accuracy. Now, he continues. McCarthy was cooking in the red zone period. He went 4 for 5 in that setting with touchdown passes. And here I was talking about the second team wide receivers. To Jalen Naylor, Lucky Jackson, and Trey Knox. How many of those guys are going to be actively playing in a game besides Jalen Naylor if he stays healthy? The fourth completion was a dump off to Kene Nwangu that may or may not have resulted in a score if tackling were in play. The lone incompletion was a ball that was too hot and a bit too high for Samus Reyes. It's a fun word to say. Overall, McCarthy looked smooth, decisive, and accurate during the red zone work. He continues, when the Vikings went back to 11-on-11 work, McCarthy had a rookie moment when he was late trying to fit a ball into a tight window with two defenders in the area. Theo Jackson seemed to read it all the way and jumped the route for a pick. Both Darnold and McCarthy have had their moments and their bad ones as they've tried to deal with relentless pressure and complex coverages from Brian Flores, which he presents to them. But if you're declaring a winner of each day, Darnold took day one, and McCarthy gets each of the last two. So, to break down that report, from my eyes, I see it as Darnold threw an interception, almost threw two, threw a high ball to J.J. because hospital balls don't exist anymore. J.J. McCarthy threw an interception, played really well in the red zone area, but they each threw one interception, and I get Theo Jackson dropped a pick from Sam Darnold, so it could have been 2 picks. But do we count interceptions that aren't interceptions in the NFL? No, we don't. Throughout the regular season, when said quarterback throws a ball that should have been picked, and it wasn't, a defender drops it, at the end of the game, at the end of the season, do we look back at that moment and say, well, He did throw 5 picks, but it really should have been 7 or 8, so let's count that against him. No, we don't. Defenders drop picks all the time, and they were bad throws, but every quarterback has a bad throw. So I don't think that J.J. McCarthy is head and shoulders above Sam Darnold right now. He might be outperforming him. He might be playing a little bit better than him. But it's not like an 80-20 situation where J.J. McCarthy is just smearing him and Sam Darnold can't even smell his jockstrap because J.J. McCarthy is leaps and bounds ahead of him. I don't think that's the situation at all right now. I believe it's like, okay, maybe it's like 51-49 where J.J. McCarthy made a couple better passes than Sam Darnold did. But it's not a situation where he's just blowing him out of the water. Now, I will say this. It does seem like if he continues to play like this, you get Sam Darnold through the first 5-week brutal schedule of the season. You got the bye week, and then maybe it's J.J. McCarthy time. If he continues to outperform Sam Darnold in training camp, according to insiders, not according to the head coaches, then hopefully we see J.J. McCarthy earlier on in the season than we originally anticipated, because there's some people that are projecting that we won't see J.J. McCarthy all season. And even I've said that, hey, that wouldn't even be a bad thing because he's only 21 years old. Let the guy grow, give him some reps, get him some practice, let him grow mentally and how he reads defenses. It's not the end of the world if J.J. McCarthy sits out the entire year. But if he continues to play better and he gives the Minnesota Vikings a better chance to win, then throw the guy out there. Let's see what he can do. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Thank you for making this podcast a part of your day.